Okay, so let's pick another job. So we, do you remember where we are? Yeah, I know we are. Okay, right. So we need to go something up to 20. Something up to 20. This one looks good.
Okay.
Okay, I've selected one.
Then.
So we are in a quarry.
Please proceed to
Ooh,
the highlighted route.
sounds exciting.
And once again, a Scania without a sat-nav, because they're really tight, Scania. They don't give you anything for free.
Clearly. Gravel. Ooh, I like your trailer. Convey suave.
Yeah, looks good, doesn't it? I suppose I do like Scania because it's the closest thing to what I drive in real life.
Oh yeah, don't you drive an old Saab?
Yeah. I know it's not the same company, but they've got the same logo and stuff. And actually, the interior feels quite similar because they build the cockpit like curved around you slightly. Like they say it's like a fighter jet. I'm not sure about that, but yeah.
Yeah. Did Saab actually make a comeback or not? I think it was Volvo that made a comeback.
Yeah, Volvo.
They were taken over by a
Volvo
Chinese
did
company.
well. I think Volvo were bought by Geely.
Yeah.
Saab were bought by BAIC, I think they're called. And they created a company called NEVS, National Electric Vehicle Sweden. And they were gonna make the 9-3, which is like their small car, with Chinese running gear, like a battery and motor.
Yeah.
But while they still exist, I think everything is on hold. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
it's a shame, you know. But you know, owning an old Saab isn't so difficult because somebody bought all of the machines to build all the spare parts when they went bankrupt, and now they're making absolute loads out of selling spare parts for old Saabs.
Right.
Because they have quite a dedicated, like Saab drivers generally are quite dedicated to the cars. You know, they want to keep them running just because they like them, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cult.
Yeah,
but it's like, you know.
One of the ones that I see a lot of people liking is the Saab. Is it the Saab 9-3 Estate?
Yeah.
Which is actually a really nice car. Like, even though it's fairly old now.
Yeah. Well, you know,
it's a pretty nice car.
In Britain, we're kind of a throwaway culture, right? People get a new car every 5 years. So if you see an old car, the chance of them being like a Saab or a Volvo are quite high compared to like Mercedes and BMWs of that era, because they're just not as reliable, I suppose.
Yeah.
100 meters, turn right.
You know, I just quite like the way that Saab and Volvo did things, you know. And it's a shame that perhaps they've not. Well, obviously Saab doesn't exist anymore, but Volvo's perhaps gone a bit astray with their. Don't they make something called Polestar now?
The first exit.
Yeah, that's like one of their electric brands, you know.
Yeah, and they start at like £60,000, which is kind of ridiculous. But
yeah, I think they're just trying to compete with Tesla, basically, aren't they?
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a shame that Saab weren't taken over by someone with more resources that can basically bring them back. But I think maybe we don't realise that the margins in making cars probably is not that big, especially when you talk about mainstream regular cars. I think one of the reasons that Tesla were okay is because they were making electric cars that at the time no one else was making electric cars with that amount of range, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why they were able to get the margins and everything. But if you're just making regular cars, I think people don't realize it's quite a low margin, high cost thing, isn't it? So
well, what I know about Saab is that they didn't make a profit for the last like 10 years of their existence, and like every new car, they weren't able to recoup the costs because, I mean, they put a lot of effort into making the cars, especially in stuff like crash safety.
Yeah.
So, and that's expensive. Like they did
Yeah.
a moose test where you hit like it wasn't an actual moose, but it was a dummy like hoisted up in the air as if you were hitting a moose. I don't know what the plural of moose is, but
Yeah.
but because that's a genuine worry in Sweden, right?
Yeah.
And you know they were like them and Volvo were like the first companies to get like 5-star crash ratings and stuff, which we just take for granted now. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess
because that was one of their main selling points, wasn't it? The safety. I think them and Volvo at the time were both high on safety stuff.
Yeah.
They were very hot on that.
well Volvo were the first company to have seatbelts as standard, I think.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Well, when we talk about these kind of car companies that are going out of business, if you want to learn how not to run a car company, you should look into Austin and Leyland and all those like British, well, because they used to be government owned things and they were just run so badly by people that just did what they're doing.
Although weirdly, they were run probably even worse under privatization because they were kind of privatized, and then people thought, wait, why are we running? Why have we just bought a unprofitable company? And they just sold it, and then they died. So it's like you know, the problems were so deeply rooted that nothing could probably solve them.
Well, I think they probably held on to a lot of the top management they had when they were a government company, I imagine.
Yeah.
And being a private and a government-run company is completely different, right?
Yeah.
So you can waste a lot of money in a government-run organization, you know, but when you're answering to shareholders, that's not going to work, is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously Saab was bought by GM. They got sold off to a Chinese company in the end after other deals. I think Koenigsegg wanted to buy them for a bit. But you know, to be fair, the British companies still exist. Like Mini was sold to BMW, Rover was sold to BMW. They're actually Chinese as well now. Goodness me, I forgot about that. Jaguar is Indian. I think it's Tata Steel, something like that.
Yeah.
What about the other ones? Aston Martin, I think, was owned by Ford for a long time.
Yeah, I think that's owned by Lawrence Stroll, the guy that also owns an F1 team. I don't know.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Aston Martin have an F1 team now. Aston Martin have just got back into F1.
Yeah, it's that team. Basically, Lawrence Stroll, who I think is the majority shareholder of Aston Martin, or, you know, he's basically heading it up. They bought out a F1 team whose name I can't remember, and then last year they changed it into Aston Martin.
Yeah. No, I like all these supercar companies, but I don't think I'd ever want to own one because I'd be so scared about taking it out. I wouldn't be able to enjoy it because you can't leave it anywhere.
Well, one of the things that makes me laugh is all the people over here in Hong Kong that have these super hypercars, and there's literally nowhere to really drive them.
Or park.
So, yeah, but I mean, you know, like, it's not like in the UK where you've got all these back roads, country roads that you can go down. They don't really have that here, right? And then what happens is some of these people will take them out in the middle of the night and just race around the roads, because obviously it's a lot emptier then.
Yeah. Do you remember in Grid 2 there was a Hong Kong map? I don't know if you played that game. Yeah. And it's like a sort of they call them like Tugay, is it? Togay, where it's like just a Japanese name for like mountain road where you can drift and stuff, and I don't know. But anyway, that was an interesting map.
Yeah.
But yeah, soon we will own hypercars in Hong Kong, won't we? Because of Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.
Yeah.
We're going to be in the casino winning our McLarens. I really don't know what that game is going to be like.
Me neither. It might be awesome, or it might be rubbish. Who knows?
And another game that has 1-to-1 scale.
Oh, really? Well, I suppose because Hong Kong is not that large,
Yeah,
so
and it's just Hong Kong
more.
Island.
Ah, there you go. That's why then. Well, it'll be really interesting, like, to see how much detail they managed to get in it. Then.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it, and it's the last game I expected to come back.
Yeah. Because I seem to remember that Test Drive Unlimited 2 didn't get a great reception, if I remember rightly. Wasn't there some server issues when it first launched?
Yeah,
I seem to
Atari.
remember the servers didn't work, the multiplayer servers or something, and they had to do stuff around that.
Atari aren't a gaming company anymore. That's the problem. You know,
No.
they're a gambling company now, which is another type of gaming, I suppose. But they just didn't put the resources into it that it needed.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we need to go back to our previous conversation about cities, skylines. I was going to ask you, so do you think any of the DLC is actually worth buying? Because isn't there a lot of stuff in the workshop you can just download free and stuff?
The problem I have is that you have to spend a long time looking at mods to suit your needs and what you like. So I'm going back to vanilla and just playing a vanilla playthrough. But all the ones about transport are worth it. The other ones, no. Park life is not worth it. Because if you want to build like a theme park, just get Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo. It really doesn't simulate it very well. It's literally just like something to spend 20 minutes on and forget about.
Yeah.
All the ones about transport, go for it.
Okay. On the subject of Planet Zoo, what the heck happened there with that game? That game got heavily discounted so fast.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same feel. It's not as engaging as Planet Coaster, unfortunately.
Right.
I have no idea what lane we're... Okay, this one. The sat-nav just wasn't talking to me there. So it is realistic, I suppose. Yeah, it's not a bad game, but it's certainly not as engaging as Planet Coaster was.
And what was the other one they did? Oh yeah, that Jurassic Park, and that was another one. They brought out the second one, the Jurassic Park 2, whatever, and that one as well. Are we going straight on here or what?
Yeah, straight on over the flyover.
Okay, because that was not that clear to me for some reason.
No, I got confused up there as well. I'm just waiting for you.
What was I saying? Yeah, and that game as well. It came out and it got heavily discounted. I think it got discounted like 35 or 30% really quickly in this last sale, and that hasn't really been out for very long.
No. Well, I made a video about kind of good deals for sim games, and I was very surprised at some of the stuff that was on massive sale.
For example?
Well, last time, there's a game called Plague... No, not Plague Inc. Rebel Inc. It's a game that's just come out.
Okay, I'm behind you now, mate. You can keep going.
A game that had just come out was like 20% off, and it was like literally like a couple of months ago.
Right.
But then Farm Sim wasn't anything.
Big surprise there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start talking about Farm Sim.
No. But then, you know, I can't remember now because there's so many games. Automobilista 2 is on massive sales at the moment. That's what surprises me.
Right. But I think that game has been out a while, but they are the DLC on offer? Because I think they're probably making more from the DLC these days, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they are as well, but it's hard to pick any one bit of the DLC that I actually really wanted, apart from the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
So, you know, I got that. I like the variety of like weird old French cars that are driving around. Like you see some very obscure French cars driving around that I think adds to the kind of, because like when you're traveling in France, especially coming from the UK, you see things that you never see, like Renault Twingos and, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Steam sales just aren't that amazing anymore. So anything over 50% is kind of big deal.
Yeah, and they seem to just roll out all the same deals again. Like I remember years ago, I used to get really excited for Steam sales, and they would have some really big discounts, and but these days it's just the exact same stuff again and again that are discounted the same amounts. That's how it feels anyway.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I would recommend you to go and at least pick up City Skylines again without buying the DLC. Just to see if you like it at all. Because jumping back into it, there is a massive learning curve.
Right.
Especially when you've got the mods on.
Excuse me. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll do that, before I decide on anything else. But I don't know. I just thought about it because I did play it a while back and I did enjoy it. That was quite a long time ago. And I don't believe I have any of the mods at the moment.
Well, the any of them? Any of the DLC, you mean?
Yeah, the DLC. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh yeah, you want to go for stuff like is it the Metro one or City Transit or something like that? There's one about transit that's really good. It has monorails and stuff like that, which you can put above the roads. Oh, yeah. I just got off speeding offence. There's a police car driving past. So yeah, go for that one. Yeah, I mean, there's an industry one which is quite good. You can do like farming and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit of stuttering now, which is a bit weird. But it's not
really?
too bad. It's not too bad.
Oh, that's funny. On the opposite side of the road, I just saw there were two trucks that crashed into each other and were flying through the air.
Wow.
But that was on the opposite side of the road. That's hilarious.
I mean, do you remember we saw that bus and that car crash before? And they really...
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I think that is maybe what happens when you have these kind of mods, right? Because it's not supposed to be in the game, so there must be some minor issues when you have those kind of mods on and the pathing and all that,
Yeah. Now this feels exactly like a lot of places in France that I've been to. This that weird kind of... I read some of that flyover there is for animals, and also to like oh, I hear you honking behind me. So that the habitat and like nature continues over the road or something. It's weird. But I always wondered what they were, because they're not in the UK, those.
Right.
But yeah, it's something to do with like continuing the habitat over the road.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
The flyover we just went under with all the trees on top of it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. Oh, I see an airplane.
Yeah, I think we're coming up to the international airport.
Nice.
Hopefully you can actually do deliveries with that, like interact with it in some way. But because I know that there are things you can do in that in other maps.
Well, but you know that what I was saying yesterday, was it, about that game Motor? What's it called?
Motor
City
Town.
or Motor Town?
Yeah.
That is kind of along the lines of something that I've been talking about would be awesome to have a game. I mean, but it would be awesome if someone made a game like that, but more realistic, with realistic graphics. Like I've said like a million times over the years, if you had a game which had like a farm sim element, but also a truck sim element in the same game, and it was like an MMO, and you had some of the players were farmers and some of the players were truck drivers, and that would be so awesome.
I think we're getting close to that being possible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if... I mean, I'm always looking out for that kind of game.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 5 years... if Test Drive Unlimited can come back, anything's possible.
Just be careful you don't get ripped off again with a Kickstarter like that last one. What was that one called?
Identity.
Identity.
Yeah.
Because they were saying stuff like that, right? That it was going to have a real economy from the players and all this kind of stuff.
Keep the
Hang on. No. Far left lane.
Got ya.
It's Alfa Romeo. Come on. Hurry up. Go right.
I don't think that he can hear you, unfortunately.
I had my head out the window and everything.
use the left lane ahead.
Nice.
Whoa, that is such a tight corner after coming off a motorway.
It is.
And then we've got to get all the way over to the right, I think. Yeah. Have you noticed that the toll booths have like different icons in this map and stuff, and the fuel stations do as well?
I think I realised they look slightly different.
Right exit.
Yeah. Maybe not exactly. I hadn't realised exactly what was different, but yeah, definitely seen that they weren't the same as in the regular game.
So that was a fun journey. We did pretty much the same route to start with.
Hit the first exit.
Yeah.
But then we got to see a bit more of the motorways and open farmland and stuff. Now
Yeah.
there is another game that's similar to Identity, but I think will be free, at least in the early access. And I'm gonna have to think about what it is, and it does look quite similar, but it
Yeah.
looks much further along. So I'm wondering what that'll be like, but I can't remember the name of it for the life of me.
Okay. Well, you know, some kind of
Meters, turn right.
thing like what I said earlier would be so awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
it
if you
really
got-
would.
Well, it's a little bit like the kind of RP servers, right? But instead
Yeah.
of just having no real thing to do, you would have actual things to do.
Turn left.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's like Altis Life doesn't feel that great, really. And City Life RPG really isn't the same as what it used to be.
Oh no, I'm not even. Well, I think it is around still, isn't
Yeah.
it? But I
Yeah.
don't think it's anything like what it used to be. I mean, that used to be amazing. For the, you know, you could go and be a farmer and grow olives and sell the olives, and people would like rob you and stuff.
Yeah.
And all of that was RP'd.
Destination.
You know, people weren't allowed just to randomly kill you and stuff like that. So yeah, and I can remember there was a guy that wanted to become the mayor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd, over a long period of time, he was like promoting himself, like to be the mayor and stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of what this game I was talking about is planning as well. Although they have got fully implemented vehicles, which is about 10 times further along than Identity ever got.
Yeah. I also got ripped off by another Kickstarter called Greedmonger,
Greedmonger.
where they were saying that was like a medieval style MMO, but it was
Mhm.
going to be like a sandbox MMO kind of thing.
Oh, I'd love
But
it.
yeah.
I'd love that kind of game.
But-
Me and a friend like that kind of game where you can have like a medieval MMO. But I've tried playing the Guild free. I hated it. I tried playing. I did play that. Oh goodness, what's the name of
Sailig?
it? Sailig, and it's not multiplayer. That's the problem. But yeah,
I really
that's
like
good.
that game though. That game is really cool because
Sailig is good.
that game does have a feeling like you have to find your own path, and you've got so many options of what you could do.
Yeah.
So I really like that game. Yeah.
The actual economy feels a bit limited. Like it's sort of just you put money in and it comes out. But other than that, it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it is a game that I think is made by only one developer. So yeah, it doesn't have everything, but I think I really like the feeling of just being plonked in a game, and it's up to you what you can do. Like in that game, one time I was roaming around. I started in a profile with not a lot of money, and I was roaming around, and I found an abandoned hut, and I claimed it, and that was my home, and I, used that to make money from and all that. It gives you a real sense of achievement because you've had to find your own way in the world, right?
Exactly. And I'm hoping that in the next few years we'll get a game perhaps come out that's of something a bit similar to that. but multiplayer.
Yeah.
I'll obviously keep a lookout on it, and you can expect if I'm still doing the channel in those number of years, I would definitely probably play that all the time. But yeah, there we go. We're in Grand Utopia. That was really good fun. Our first real experience with the Convoy modded, and it's been pretty smooth.
Yep.
So yeah, unfortunately, I can't. You're not on the screen right now, but maybe you could have a look at a truck. I don't know if you can buy a truck yet, but you definitely progress fast if you had your own truck.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that I am very impressed with the map. It's pretty cool.
2 cars just had a crash on my screen.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
Classic.
So yeah, you're very impressed. I'm very impressed, and yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon for some more simulator adventures. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and check out these videos for more content. Also remember to join my Discord server from the link in the description.